the page when you get to preparewithnyprepper.com, and you'll see. And this update was sponsored by My Patriot Supply. Guys, My Patriot Supply is doing a discount on their 1-month emergency food supply. And to get the deal, you got to go to preparewithnyprepper.com, and the link is in the description below this video. This is a 1-month freeze-dried food supply. It has a 25-year shelf life. Normal price is $237. They've dropped it down to $177. So that's a savings of $60. And it's all packed within 2 rugged, water-resistant buckets. Free shipping is included. $177 for 1 month of food. Where are you going to find a deal like that? They also have a general store, and they're always running discounts in their general store on various prepping and survival items. They have everything from MREs, potassium iodide, to survival seeds. And to get to their general store, you got to click on the My Patriot Supply logo at the top of the page when you get to preparewithnyprepper.com. And you'll see when you get there, they have everything you can imagine. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get $60 off the My Patriot Supply 1-month emergency food supply. That's $180 for 1 month of food, free shipping included. The link is in the description below this video. And also check out their general store. They have everything you can imagine prepping and survival related, and they're always running various discounts there. What's going on, guys? How's everybody doing tonight? I hope you guys are having a good Thursday night. Let me know if you guys can hear me. How's it going, Jimmy Rance, Kincoy? Amy, what's going on, Amy? Mojos Cosmos. Rodney Middleton, good to see you. I hope you guys are all having a good Thursday. Wow, so many people here. Look at all these people. Wow. Peggy McGuire, how's it going? Aldo Schmedak, how's it going? Okay, mic sensitivity is a little bit high. Is it still very high now? That's weird. Let me adjust that. Is it a little bit better now? I know a lot of people complain that it's too quiet sometimes, so I raised the volume because some people were complaining that it was too loud, or that it was too quiet, so I raised it a little bit. Okay. Can someone ban that idiot Yank? Can someone ban that idiot? Get the hell out of here, loser. Get a life, loser. How's it going, Soil Radio Operator? Good to see you. Thank you, mods. I appreciate it. So we have some major breaking news coming in. Looks like Vladimir Putin is getting ready to nuke Ukraine. He has just lowered the nuclear threshold, or he said that he's going to lower the nuclear threshold in response to what he calls Western actions in Ukraine. So to me, this is clearly a sign that Putin is getting ready to nuke Ukraine. Scott Beck, thank you for the donation. How does it sound? Does it still sound bad? Someone said it's still distorted. Make sure you refresh, by the way. You might be watching old sound from like a couple minutes ago. That's weird. I've never had any mic issues before. I don't know what's going on. That's weird. That's strange. Well, I don't care if it sounds like it's in a tunnel. What I care about is if you can hear me or not. That's all. Okay, sounds better than before. I don't know what's going on. That's so weird. I've never had any issues before. That's weird. How about now? That's strange. Maybe now's better. Scott Beck, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Yeah, I turned the volume up because people were bitching last time that it was too quiet. So then I raised it. So that's probably why it's distorting now. So maybe I need to lower it more. All right, well, I'm not going to spend 10 minutes figuring this all out. You know, this isn't CNN. You know, I don't have 20 people that I pay to make sure everything sounds perfect, you know. If you want perfect audio, turn on the mainstream media. I don't have a production team, it's just me, so. Okay, you can watch CNN if you want better sound. Christy, thank you for the donation. I really appreciate it. Andrews, thank you so much. I appreciate the donation. O Kurva. Rob Sarka says, Greg, thank you for all you do. No problem, Rob. I appreciate it. Yeah, we have the audio police here. So anyway, wanted to just share this video. So we have B-2 stealth bombers that landed in Guam, which is extremely concerning. They haven't been in Guam in at least 5 years officially. The last time they were in Guam was to make an aerial, or not an aerial, but just a refueling stop. They landed in Guam to refuel, but now they're actually staying there, apparently. So this could be the first time in many, many years that we have stealth bombers now in Guam. And this is coming after several days of escalation between North and South Korea, between the Philippines and China. There have been a lot of violent incidents between the Chinese Coast Guard and the Philippines Coast Guard. And several Philippine sailors were injured in these confrontations. Apparently, the U.S. is concerned now that there could be some kind of a war between the Philippines and China. So we have a lot of escalation going on. This is a very serious situation in Asia right now. Sweatnam Ministries, thank you for the donation. Indiana had a complete internet outage in one town, not sure where, but phone and PC problems all day here in Florida. It seems Honda PCS was down too. Oh, wow. So it looks like Florida and Indiana are having internet issues. Dave Mattis, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Kumquat Singleton, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Hope all is well with you. And Kingdom Daughter, thank you so much for the donation. Really appreciate that. So I want to just share this video, if you didn't see my update earlier, of the B-2s arriving in Guam. This is a huge deal. But the major breaking news tonight is that Vladimir Putin has announced that he's going to be lowering the nuclear use threshold. Okay, so this is extremely serious, guys. We know that Putin has already moved his tactical nukes to the border of Ukraine. He's moved them into Belarus. He's also moved them along the border with Finland and the Baltics. So this is extremely serious, guys. Looks like Putin is getting ready to use the nukes. And let me just play this video of the B-2s arriving in Guam. We know that there were multiple B-2s that arrived in Guam. We don't know what the purpose of their mission is. But again, look at what's going on between North and South Korea, and between China and the Philippines, and then China and Taiwan also. Okay, so again, this is the first time in a long time that they've arrived in Guam. Okay, so they're preparing for something big to happen. Look at those hangars. Those are reinforced hangars for these planes. You see that? These hangars look like they're made of some steel or concrete. Reinforced hangars here. But it looks like multiple B-2s have been moved to Guam. Okay, so something big is about to go down if they're moving B-2s to Guam. Yeah, lowering the nuclear threshold. Lowering the nuclear threshold means that it's lowering the requirements to use nuclear weapons. You know, it's reducing the threshold. You know, that's what it means. Exactly what it means. You know, it's lowering the requirements, making it easier to use nukes. Essentially. That's what it means. It's going to make it easier for Russia to use nukes now. Thank you, mods. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. So pretty serious situation over there, okay, in Guam. You know, this is a very, very serious situation, okay. Moving stealth bombers to Guam, I mean, it's just absolutely insane. We had a lot of nuclear war command and control planes in the air this evening. We had several Boeing E-6 Mercuries in the air today. So our nuclear forces are on high alert. Let me just read some headlines to you real quick. Get you guys caught up on some of the latest that's going on right now. Thank you again, Sweatnam Ministries, for the donation. I appreciate it. Tammin Rod says I missed new today. Not sure what that means. I guess new update. So I'm going to just read to you some headlines. Russia sent a balloon into Poland from Kaliningrad. The Polish military is claiming it was an accident and that Russia lost control of the balloon and the balloon flew over the border. Okay, Kaliningrad is a small province just north of Poland, a Russian province. Polish officials are saying that apparently a tether broke and this balloon drifted over into northern Poland, and apparently the Polish military was notified by the Russian military that happened. I'm not sure if I believe the story, even if, first of all, I don't believe Russia notified them. Second of all, if they did notify them, I don't believe it was an accident. But some kind of Russian balloon drifted into northern Poland earlier today. So this is extremely concerning. And Ukrainian forces may use U.S. weapons to strike targets within Russia wherever Russian forces launch cross-border assaults on Ukrainian territory, not just near the Kharkiv Oblast border. U.S. officials confirmed to Politico on June the 20th. Okay, so this means that Ukraine can use U.S. weapons to strike targets anywhere in Russia. It doesn't have to just be near Kharkiv, okay? Any cross-border assault on Ukraine, I mean, that basically opens up strikes to all of Russia, because, I mean, isn't every strike a cross-border assault? So I don't know what this actually means, but essentially it just means that the U.S. is going to allow Ukraine to launch deep strikes in Russia. Okay, so this is very, very serious, guys. The officials denied that this was a substantive policy change from U.S. President Joe Biden's statement granting Ukraine permission to use American weapons in Russia solely near the area of Kharkiv. U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan told PBS News on June 17th that Ukraine is allowed to strike anywhere that Russian forces are coming across the border from the Russian side to the Ukrainian side to try to take additional Ukrainian territory. Sullivan said that if Moscow launched an offensive against Sumy Oblast, Ukraine would have permission to use U.S. arms to strike inside Russia near the Sumy border. Okay, so this is a huge deal, guys. Okay, so the U.S. is allowing Ukraine to basically strike anywhere inside of Russia when Russia's launching cross-border assaults. There was also a loud series of explosions heard in Iran in the area of the Zahedan airport. Apparently alarms were activated during this situation. According to local reports, the Iranian Air Force was attacked, and Iranian media is trying to say that it was an electrical generator that exploded, and there are deaths being reported now, okay? So some kind of loud explosion in the Zahedan airport in Iran, which is just absolutely insane, okay? And deaths are being reported now. So this is very, very strange situation. Could have been some kind of Israeli operation, possibly. We'll have to wait and see. So this is a very serious situation, guys. Very serious. Some strange kaboom in Iran. Deaths being reported. According to South Korean news, North Korean soldiers have once again tried to cross the border. This is the third time this has happened this month. So this is coming from Yonhap News. North Korean soldiers once again try to cross the border. So the first two times, the South Korean military fired warning shots. Then there was another time when the North Korean soldiers blew themselves up. They walked into a minefield. We don't know what happened this time. This would actually be the fourth time, not the third. So this is extremely weird. Obviously, these are probing attacks. And, Putin signed that mutual defense treaty with North Korea. So basically, if North Korea goes to war with South Korea, then Russia would help North Korea. Basically like an alliance. It's a military alliance, a mutual defense pact between North Korea and Russia, okay? So now if, let's say the U.S. and South Korea decide to bomb North Korea to take out their nuclear facilities, or if there's some kind of a war and America helps South Korea or Australia, the UK, etc., then Russia is going to basically go to war with us, This is very serious, guys, okay? And we have Marco Rubio, the Republican senator from Florida, who is the vice chair for the Senate Intelligence Committee, releasing a warning that a very dangerous war is brewing in the Middle East between Hezbollah and Israel, as well as possibly even Iran. And CNN is citing sources who reported that the U.S. and Israel are reportedly concerned that a war between Hezbollah and Israel would lead to an expansion in the Middle East of the war and an entry into the war by various countries and groups. Okay, so that's very serious. And we know that Iran has threatened to strike Israel if Israel goes into Lebanon, and it looks like we're just days away from going to war with Hezbollah. And the U.S. has stated that they would also go to war with Hezbollah. It's not just Israel alone that's going to be going to war. It's going to be the U.S. and the U.K. and maybe France helping Israel. There's going to probably be massive airstrikes on Hezbollah artillery pieces. They're going to have to neutralize as many artillery pieces as possible, because Hezbollah has a massive amount and they could do some serious damage with all that artillery. And, Israel does have the Iron Dome system, but the Iron Dome system has its limits. And if they're firing thousands of rockets a day, any air defense system will get overwhelmed. I mean, even if you had a laser defense system, still some rockets would probably get through. It's just so many rockets. So Israel has been preparing for that. They've been stockpiling on the number of interceptor missiles, and they've been fine tweaking their radars on their Patriot system, or not Patriot, their Iron Dome systems. So they've been preparing for this, guys. They've been preparing. And I think we're going to see it in the coming days, possibly next week sometime. The deadline that I heard was the 24th, which is Monday. So they gave Hezbollah until the 24th to push their forces back over the Litani River. And if they don't, then Israel's going to go in. Okay? So, this could be a very serious situation. This could really, really escalate, with Iran getting involved, the U.S. getting involved, and it could just spiral out of control. So we also had a U-2 spy plane flying over Nevada earlier today. Putin is already on his way back from Vietnam. So, very serious situation, guys. And South Korea will be providing weapons to Ukraine now, and Russia, or Putin, has threatened South Korea that if South Korea provides weapons to Ukraine, then South Korea will regret it. He actually said that. But a Korean senior official said that there are many options for weapons support, and there are ways to classify them differently depending on whether they are lethal or non-lethal. Wouldn't it be interesting for Russia to know gradually? There are a lot of precision weapons, and there are things that Russia hates. So that's what the Korean senior official said. The South Korean parliament officially recognized for the first time Russia's participation in the Korean War. Okay, because Russia helped North Korea and fought with North Korea against South Korea. Okay, so looks like history's repeating itself. Looks like Putin is ready for war. It looks like he's preparing to use his nukes. We have Israel getting ready to go into Lebanon, which could ignite a regional war. We have the U.S. moving stealth bombers to Guam. We have tensions between the Philippines and China now. Not just Taiwan, but China, Philippines also. Scott Beck, thank you for the donation again. Greg, have I seen the news about Russia's satellite killers in space? Yes, of course I've seen that news. Yeah, I mean, they've had those up there for years. The thing is, though, is that those satellite killers, they don't really work the way people think, okay? Because if they try to, let's say, destroy our satellites with a nuke or something, they're going to destroy their own satellites. There's no, unless they have like precision weapons like lasers or something that they can specifically target individual satellites. There's like thousands and thousands of satellites in space constantly orbiting the Earth. So if they just detonate a bomb or something, it's going to take out their own satellites too, you know. But I have no doubt that they have satellite killers, but we have them too. So, and furthermore, in a nuclear war scenario, satellites don't really matter because most of our missiles are resistant. They're made specifically to use astro-inertial guidance, which doesn't require GPS. Okay, like our Minuteman missiles, our Trident missiles, our gravity bombs, they don't require GPS. Okay, they use astro-inertial guidance. So they're impervious to any attacks on satellites. They're also impervious to EMPs. The only thing that would potentially be threatened would be some of our nuclear-tipped cruise missiles. Those would potentially have their guidance thrown off. But I'm sure they figured out a way around that too. Remember, you know, we have probably millions of people in the U.S. military and in defense contractors, and they're very smart people, highly educated, that do that for a living. So I'm sure they've thought of different workarounds. Andrew Pickett, thanks for the donation. With Putin lowering the threshold, I'm fully expecting Putin to start poking and provoking his enemies just to give him an excuse to push the button. Right, exactly. I totally agree. I think we're going to see North Korea start something now, because now that North Korea is in this mutual defense pact, I think we're going to see North Korea potentially invade parts of South Korea and try to take control of some territory. There's a couple of disputed islands in the sea off the coast of North Korea and South Korea that North Korea could try to attack or take over. There's actually 3 islands that South Korea considers to be theirs, but North Korea considers to be theirs. So there could be a fight over that. But now that Russia's backing North Korea, I think it opens the floodgates for North Korea. Frank Ash, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Smoky Mountain, how's it going? What are my thoughts about the rapture happening just as nukes begin to fall? As the Bible says, we will be snatched by Jesus at the perfect time. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a possibility for sure. It's definitely a possibility. Mama D, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Hope you're having a good Thursday night. Andrew Pickett says Romans 10:10, one believes with the heart resulting in righteousness, and one confesses with the mouth resulting in salvation. That's a good one. Thanks for sharing that. I appreciate it. DJ Ross says, been listening since the crazy night a month or 2 back. I think y'all call it the culinary night. Thanks, Greg, for all the real news and world events that no one of the mainstream covers. No problem. I'm glad that you trust me for your news. And yes, culinary night. That's right. Andrew Pickett, thank you for another donation. 2 Tapple, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. And Paul Kusal, thank you for the donation. Appreciate that. So tensions on the Korean Peninsula are escalating. Ukraine's 24th Mechanized Brigade is saying that fighting is extremely difficult in Chasiv Yar due to Russia constantly launching frontal assaults. Okay, Chasiv Yar is the critical town in eastern Ukraine. I believe it's near Bakhmut. I can't remember where it is, but I think it's right outside of Bakhmut or Donetsk. Toolmaker, thank you for the donation. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and thanks for the kind words. Appreciate that. Thank you, Amy Sturdivant. I appreciate it. Drones from Ukraine apparently targeted a military airfield in Krasnodar Krai in Russia. Residents reported that a fire broke out due to an attack on the Yeysk military airfield. Wow, so some kind of military airfield was attacked again by Ukrainian drones in the Krasnodar Krai. That's close to Crimea. That's like adjacent to Crimea. TX Kit Kat, thank you for the donation. Culinary Night Survivor. That's a good one. That's a good t-shirt idea. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Russian forces claim to have deployed the Fab 3000 glide bomb for the first time. A video shared by a pro-Kremlin blogger purports to show Russian bombers striking a Ukrainian military target in the village of Liptsy in Kharkiv Oblast. So the Fab 3000 glide bomb is a massive glide bomb. I'm guessing it's like 3,000 pounds. So they're starting to use these heavy bombs in Kharkiv. And the U.S. has decided to transfer all currently produced Patriot and NASAMS systems to Ukraine, with the exception of Taiwan. Also, Romania decided to send one of their Patriot systems. This is definitely going to aggravate Putin because Russia's capability to attack Ukraine is going to be diminished if we send more Patriot missiles, and Romania sending some. They're sending an entire battery, and then we're going to be sending all currently produced Patriot systems and NASAM systems to Ukraine. Okay, so that's probably a lot. That's probably several. So Putin's definitely going to be infuriated by that. China sent 34 of their Air Force jets and planes into Taiwan's air defense zone last night and today. This is one of the largest such sorties of 2024 by China, and the Chinese planes came as close as 37 nautical miles from Taiwan, one of the closest approaches this year. Okay, so 34 Chinese Air Force planes, and they came within 37 miles, which is one of the closest. So just crazy situation there in Asia. According to U.S. officials, the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command has drafted options in case of an escalation in the South China Sea between the Philippines and China, or if the Philippines invokes Article 5 of their Mutual Defense Treaty with the U.S. Okay, so Indo-Pacific Command is drafting options in the event of an escalation in the South China Sea between the Philippines and China. This is huge news, guys. Or if the Philippines asks for help, because we have a mutual assistance treaty. The U.S. has a treaty with the Philippines, so works similar to how NATO has a treaty. EM, thank you so much for the donation. Wow, that's so generous of you. I'm really blown away. I've seen you donate several times before. I really appreciate that large donation. I'm just blown away. Thank you very, very much. Greg, I can't thank you enough for all you do from the bottom of my heart. I'm serious. God bless you. The world needs prayer. Would you lead us in a short prayer? God bless you and the mods and everyone here. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yes, I can lead everyone into a prayer. Let me just turn down the radio here. Hold on one sec so we don't get any crackles or any kind of interruptions. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. God, please watch over America. Please watch over everybody in this chat. Keep everyone healthy and happy. And please protect the innocent people who are suffering due to war and poverty, the people of Ukraine, Israel, Africa. Please protect them, give them food, protect them from missiles. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Patty Duchette, for the donation. Thank you very much. And Serena Smith, thank you for the donation. I believe we will got when things really go, but we'll see. I'm not sure what you meant by that, Serena, but thank you for the donation. Maybe if you want to clarify what you meant. Thank you guys for all the generous donations. And I'm going to start doing some more prayers on this stream because I think we need more prayers. We need to pray more. So I'm just going to continue with some more breaking news here. So again, U.S. Indo-Pacific Command has drafted options in case of an escalation in the South China Sea between the Philippines and China. There was some kind of mysterious sonic boom in the Mediterranean today, and a senior U.S. official will visit Vietnam tomorrow and Saturday to reaffirm American support for Vietnam, the State Department said today, on the heels of a visit to the country by Russian President Putin. Daniel Crittenbrink, the Assistant Secretary of State for East Asian and Pacific Affairs, is traveling to Hanoi to meet with senior Vietnamese officials and to underscore the strong U.S. commitment to implementing the U.S.-Vietnam Comprehensive Strategic Partnership, the State Department said in a statement. Crittenbrink will also reaffirm the U.S. support for a strong, independent, resilient, and prosperous Vietnam, to which Russia has been selling arms for decades. So, very serious situation. Putin going to Vietnam. Putin's basically trying to rekindle all these old alliances from the Soviet days. Let me see if I can just share some stuff with you guys. Hold on one sec here. Just want to share some stuff. Hold on. I want to just show you guys some flight paths here. We had a lot of activity today. Let me see if I can share this with you guys. Hold on. So we had 3 nuclear war command and control planes in the air this evening. Okay, we had 1 in the Pacific, 1 in the Gulf, and 1 in the Atlantic. Usually they do this if something serious is about to happen or is happening. They have 1 in every ocean that surrounds the U.S. And what they're doing here is communicating with submerged nuclear armed subs. So our nuclear forces are on high alert. Yes, I did hear those test counts. I did hear the test counts, yep. Looks like a bad connection possibly. Yeah, I do see, I am getting an error message here. Looks like a bad internet connection or something. Can you guys still hear me? It looks like a bad connection, guys. Please stop commenting about my microphone. If you keep commenting about my microphone, you're going to get banned, okay? I'm sick of hearing about what to do, how to use a microphone. I've been on YouTube for 7 years. I know how to use a microphone, okay? So please stop commenting about my microphone, okay? There's nothing I can do about it. I tried everything, okay? So please. If you keep commenting about my microphone, you're going to get banned because it distracts from the conversation. Here we have 2 Russian Special Flight Squadron planes. These probably have Putin on them. They left from northern Vietnam and they went to Moscow. So these are the Ilyushin 300 planes. Okay, Putin's doomsday planes. So yeah, it looks like there was some internet connectivity issues. I'm not sure what happened, but looks like there's some internet connectivity issues. Here we have a bunch of reconnaissance planes over South Korea tonight. Here you can see 3 of them. We have a RQ-4 Global Hawk and 2 other reconnaissance planes. Look at how they're flying close to the border of North Korea, the DMZ. Check that out, guys. That's a massive amount of reconnaissance there. And then here we have a U.S. Air Force reconnaissance plane that flew all the way through the Baltics and then went up into Finland. And it was patrolling the border of Russia. Look at this, guys. This is crazy. Just every night, massive amounts of reconnaissance here in the Baltic region. But something's about to go down in the Baltics. And here we have the flight path of a U.S. reconnaissance plane, actually a British reconnaissance plane that was flying earlier this morning, late last night, parallel to the western shore of Crimea. So this could mean that Ukraine is preparing to launch a strike on Crimea, maybe in the coming hours or days, okay, because it was flying parallel to the western side of Crimea, so it's collecting information on targets. Yeah, Israel is going into Lebanon, yep. Yeah, I see that my sound is off. I don't know what's going on. I lowered the volume, so I don't know what's going on. It's weird. It's fine for you? Okay. Okay, sounds good. Here we have a Russian military plane that went to Kaliningrad last night. Ilyushin 76 TD, a Russian Air Force plane. This could be a cargo plane carrying equipment. Okay, moving it into Kaliningrad. This is definitely a sign that Russia's moving stuff into the theater and possibly getting ready to attack Belarus. Thank you for the donation. Hymns are beautiful. Will the Middle East conflict cause a world war? It certainly could. Yeah, it certainly could. It most definitely could. Russia is allies with Iran, so if we start striking Iran, Russia may get involved. Here we have a Swedish reconnaissance plane. Look where it was flying. It was flying parallel to Kaliningrad and also patrolling the Gotland Island area. This is the same area that we've been flying sub-hunters into the last couple of days and B-52s. And here we have some German Air Force, what appears to be a German Air Force reconnaissance plane, and it flew all the way around Estonia, just patrolling the Estonian shoreline here. And then here we have an Estonian Air Force reconnaissance plane. So thank you, Vanessa. Yeah. If you comment about my microphone, that it sounds bad or that I have to do this or do that, you're going to get timed out. Okay, I've been doing this for many years, probably a lot more than anybody out there watching tonight. So I don't need advice. Okay, I don't need complaints. It distracts from the message of the stream. Okay, there's nothing I can do. I did everything I can do. Okay, I'm not close to the microphone. I've adjusted everything. I don't know what's going on, so please stop talking about it. It's a big distraction, okay? So let me see here. We also had this video released by Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio saying that the situation between Israel and Hezbollah is very dangerous. Okay, he tweeted this today. So let's just watch this. For months, Senator Rubio warned Hezbollah might escalate attacks on Israel. So that's what Marco Rubio put on his Twitter today. So it's not looking too good, guys. Okay, it looks like we're just days away from a massive war in the Middle East, with Israel going into Lebanon. So this could be a very serious situation. Okay, a massive war in the Middle East is what looks like is coming. Yeah, it does look like YouTube is having some issues tonight. Looks like some glitches. Dustin P says your survival tips are sharper than a Rambo knife. Oh, thank you. That's funny. That's a good one. I used to have a Rambo knife when I was a kid. I remember when I watched Rambo First Blood, and I wanted to get a Rambo knife after, and I got one. Yeah, those Rambo knives are so cool. That was like, I loved my Rambo knife. That thing was so cool. So we also have Richard Blumenthal and what's his name? Lindsey Graham saying that they want to designate Russia as a sponsor of terrorism. So let me share this with you guys. This was earlier today.
Coming up, Senators Lindsey Graham and Richard Blumenthal introduced legislation designating Russia as a...
Proud to stand here with my friend and colleague, Lindsey Graham. I'm tempted to say, as the trial lawyer that I once was, in some ways hope to be again in the United States Senate, Exhibit A, I rest my case. Two of the most autocratic, atrocity-committing leaders in the world.
Wow, he just shit on them so bad. Two of the most autocratic, atrocity, what did he say? I gotta listen to that again. He just shit on Putin and Kim Jong-un so bad.
Autocratic, atrocity-committing leaders in the world.
Two of the most autocratic, atrocity-committing leaders in the world.
Standing together, terrorist sponsors. This picture says it all. Russia deserves to be, in fact, it's deeply earned the designation to be a state sponsor of terrorism. And so far as the practical consequences are concerned, yes, sanctions would be strengthened, And yes, there would be practical consequences, but in my view, this message to the world is as important in a moral sense as any practical consequence. Russia deserves to be in this small, selective club of atrocity-committing killers.
Russia deserves to be in this club of atrocity-committing killers.
And Russia deserves to be designated as a state sponsor of terrorism. So we're going to pursue this fight. It is bipartisan. We have other supporters. And it is a priority for me, having seen...
What's going on, Kat Sui? Said you need to get more coffee. Sounds good.
in very personal ways what Russia has done in Ukraine. We visited in Bucha the site of the mass graves. Women and children, hands tied behind their back, shot in the head. We have talked to prosecutors about Russia kidnapping children and indoctrinating them in Russia, taking them away from their loved ones and parents. We have seen firsthand the kind of terrorism that Russia has committed and sponsored around the world. And I believe that the United States Senate has to take a stand.
Well, if I were on the jury, guilty. You did a good job. So, bottom line here, this is a moment in history that will be viewed decades to follow.
Yes, there were a flurry of emergency action messages earlier this afternoon, and we had several nuclear war command and control planes in the air. But right now, we haven't heard anything, just a few test counts. But I do have the radio turned on, so we are monitoring them in the background. If anything happens, you'll hear them coming in.
As consequential. What do you have to do to become a state sponsor of terrorism? People are falling out of windows right and left. Putin has been involved with the Wagner Group, which is an extension of the state, dismembering Africa. Navalny's death was beyond strange. Every form of opposition has been crushed in Russia. They use the benefits of the Russian state to support terrorism through the Wagner Group and other entities. Now, Putin has entered into a defense agreement with one of the most notorious terrorist states on the planet. We have lost deterrence. The fact that he would be bold enough to do a defense agreement with North Korea, as Senator Blumenthal said, one of the most oppressive regimes on the planet, means we have lost deterrence. What would it matter if we designated Putin's Russia a state sponsor of terrorism? It would be a morale boost to the people of Ukraine. It would make Russia even more of a pariah state, that if you wanted to do business with Russia after we make them a state sponsor of terrorism, you do so at your own peril. It would allow victims of Putin's barbaric behavior to access American courts through this designation. To my friends at the administration, I've been working with you on Saudi and Israel. I will continue to work with you on normalization between Saudi Arabia and Israel. It's a big deal. But if
I want to remind you guys that Lindsey Graham was the guy who said that Ukraine has trillions of dollars of minerals and that the U.S. could get rich off of doing business with Ukraine to mine their minerals. It's pretty funny for him to say that.
If you worry about being too provocative regarding Russia, stop worrying. Stop worrying. You're not too provocative. We need to up our game when it comes to Russia. And the last really tool in the toolbox that we can use is a designation of making Russia a state sponsor of terrorism. I think there are only 7 nations in the world that have this designation, and it does matter. It matters a lot. So I would urge Senate leadership to bring this bill to the floor for a vote. We've made Cuba a state sponsor of terrorism. We've engaged with Cuba. It doesn't mean you can't engage. It just means that they wear a label well-deserved. Syria, Iran, Cuba, North Korea, and now Russia. So I just end with this. Of all the people I've worked with on national security, Senator Blumenthal has been very consistent. He's a proud Democrat, but when it comes to standing up for democracy, when it comes to standing up to thugs, he's really second to none. I have a pending arrest warrant in Russia. I don't know how they missed you. You make me look like a choir boy. So the bottom line is we're not giving up. We're going to insist on a vote. The best thing we could do, I think, to shape the future is to label Putin a terrorist leader, because he is. This would have enormous benefit in Ukraine, I think. So I look forward to being able to have a vote on our bill.
And I want to just say,
I'm not hearing any updates about the kabooms in Iran just yet, but I will check on that in a little bit.
about Senator Graham, he's not only been consistent, he's been passionate and inspiring in a way that John McCain was consistent and inspiring. I often think of John McCain at this moment and what he would think about a bipartisan partnership on this issue. And for everybody in this room, think about what Russia has done to its journalists. If there were no other reason to cite the persecution of American journalists and journalists worldwide by Vladimir Putin and the Russian state, that would be my Exhibit B. Exhibit A is the partnership between Kim and Putin marching literally together, their country signing a military partnership hostile to the United States, hostile to peace and liberty and justice around the world. You know, it's time for the Senate to take this stand.
Amen.
Any questions? Yep.
Senator Blumenthal, have you spoken with the Biden administration about this? Worked with them on the text or anything like that? I know the TikTok bill, for example, the way the House worked that out, that was successful because they worked with the DOJ on the wording. Do you guys work with the administration on the wording of this at all?
I've talked to the administration about this resolution. They are certainly sympathetic to the goals. We've worked on some specifics. We're going to continue to work with them. But I think it's time now for us to move forward. And they understand that we may have differences of approach or opinion, and I think they respect us for what we're trying to do.
If I could just add, you know, he's worked with the State Department, I've worked with the State Department. We're not trying, I don't think we're being provocative by labeling Putin a state sponsor of terrorism. I think we're being rational. I think the designation is earned and would matter. But after the defense agreement between North Korea and Russia, it is time for us to push back. Now is the moment, above all other moments. So I would urge the administration, given what Putin has done yesterday, let's go all in designating his regime for what it is, a state sponsor of terrorism. Here's a general rule. Anybody that does a defense agreement with North Korea should be a state sponsor of terrorism.
Have you guys heard from the administration that this might be too provocative?
No.
Two questions for both of you. First, will you try to bring this up by unanimous consent if you can't get leadership to promise a vote? And second, are you both attending Netanyahu's address next month?
I will be at Netanyahu's address, and I think we would be prepared to seek unanimous consent, but our preference would be to move forward in regular order and give the Senate a chance to vote on it as a whole. My hope is that time would permit it, but I think there is an urgency here that might prompt us to seek unanimous consent.
What do you think?
Thank you. Are there specific sanctions that would kick in with this designation that are not currently in place right now? And just the second question is, we heard Putin in North Korea say that he supports North Korea's ability to enhance their own defense capabilities. Did you take that as an explicit endorsement of their nuclear program?
I think it is an endorsement of their nuclear program. I will tell you, again, I don't want to hold up the picture for a third time, but this photograph is not just outrageous, it is deeply scary because it signals cooperation not only against Ukraine, but against the United States. I don't even need to go into the classified briefings that we've received to tell you how frightening the idea is that Russia would be lending its nuclear expertise to North Korea. Remember, Russia, for years and years, opposed North Korea getting exactly this kind of capacity, nuclear capacity, because it was so frightened of what this madman might do. So I interpret it as an endorsement, and that is one of the reasons why I think we need to use every tool available. And if nothing else, let me just tell you what one practical consequence would be. Russia's sovereign immunity in our courts would be severely restricted and curtailed as a state sponsor of terrorism. There would also be consequences for sanctions enforcement and other results.
Senator Graham, question for you. Have you had any conversations with former President Trump about supporting this?
No, I haven't. I've been trying to get the bill put together. Be a good question to ask him. Bottom line, just what Senator Blumenthal said. Not only are they in a defense agreement with North Korea, they may be providing nuclear expertise to North Korea to increase their nuclear arsenal. Now, if that doesn't get you to being a state sponsor of terrorism, what would? Increasing the nuclear capability of somebody already on the state sponsor of terrorism list should just be an automatic inclusion of the country in question. So,
hey, Vanessa, I saw your comment here, but I don't see any information. I guess you wanted to send me something. Once again, EM, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it, EM. Thank you so much. So let me continue here.
as to unanimous consent, I'd like the committee to have a first shot at this, but to me, this is one of the most important decisions our generation of politicians will make. Because if we made Russia state-sponsored terrorism, it would change the momentum in Ukraine overnight. It would be a morale boost to the Ukrainians. It would make it hard for anybody to do business with Russia, and it would further isolate this regime. My hope is that the Russian people one day will be free of Putin and his cronies. They're suffering as much as anyone.
You haven't asked me, but I haven't been in touch with former President Trump either.
I'll let him go again.
If talking about Ukraine and European allies, they would not have any questions on the language for sure, but they would have questions on when it could be possibly brought on the floor. Do you have any ideas on the timing? And the second question, Ukraine also right now calling for administration to lift all the restrictions to use American long-range missiles, ATACMS in particular, and at the House there were a lot of efforts to call an administration to do that. Would you support to lift all the restrictions from the Ukrainian army to use American long-range missiles?
Well, I'll give you my view, which is I strongly support this resolution, as you've gathered from the passion that we've sought to communicate here. But it's no substitute for continuing military support to Ukraine. It's no substitute for long-range artillery, ATACMS, and air defense. In very practical, strategic terms, we need to heighten our military support during this absolutely critical time for Ukraine as it seeks to defend itself against a Russian counteroffensive.
Paleo Greenbird, thank you for the donation. Thank you, Paleo. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for doing these lives so late. I work second shift, and it's really great to be able to catch these lives and communicate with you and the community. Oh, okay. So you work second shift, so are you just getting off of work, or you must just be getting off of work now, I would imagine. Yeah, Vanessa's okay. Everything is okay. She's doing fine. She just wanted to share something, some information. The cat situation, the cat is doing well. The cat is being taken care of.
And prepare for its own military action, hopefully early in 2025. And we should permit, very explicitly, Ukraine to attack targets in Russian-controlled territory that may be behind the lines. I've endorsed for some time the authority that Ukraine needs to attack Russian command centers, supply depots, just as they are attacking infrastructure in Ukraine. And we need to give Ukraine that authority for longer-range targets.
I think Senator Bloom, let's go real quick. We'll take one more question. But to answer, we're trying to open up another front. What have we learned? Putin could care less about how many Russians die in his misadventure. You could just kill young Russians in perpetuity. I don't think it changes the behavior. But intel tells us that he does care about his money and his ill-gotten gain. The Repo Act, where we're going after sovereign wealth assets of Russia to try to seize them to help the victim of Ukraine, is having an effect. This would open up yet another front. If we made Russia a state sponsor of terrorism, it opens them up to litigation in American courts. It makes it harder for anybody to help him. To me, this summer and fall should be about more military capability, and it should be also about more aggressive action toward their economy and the way they do business in Russia.
Okay, one more question.
Could you clarify about the timing for when the bill might be brought on the floor? Like, do you see any ideas when? Will it take months or 2 or 3?
You know, I think predictions on time are pretty hazardous around the United States Senate. I'm not going to make a prediction, but
we'll do
sooner rather than later.
We'll do our best.
Right away.
Yeah, this
Senator,
big last
just a question for you.
Yeah.
Curious about your position on the idea of including women in the draft in the NDAA that has come through the Senate
That's not
committee.
the subject of the debate today.
One more? Yeah.
Have you guys spoken with your colleagues in the House to make sure that this bill does make it to the president's desk if this passes through the Senate?
You know, I would be the last person in the world to say I've done a kind of scientific poll among members of the House, but I can tell you there'd be very strong bipartisan support. We just went on a trip to Normandy, profoundly moving. I led a delegation of about 20 senators, and Senator Graham and I were there. I will tell you, I was moved by the speeches. I was affected profoundly by talking to those veterans. They're 100 years old now. They lived through D-Day. And walking the beach in Normandy, Omaha Beach, where those soldiers landed in 8 feet of water and then had to cross 3 football fields, flat, no cover, when they were under a hail of mortars and machine guns. That kind of courage was a moment in time. We need to have the same kind of courage here. And I talked to members of the House who also went to Normandy for that trip. If we can summon the courage of that kind of moment for this resolution, but as Senator Graham said so well, for countering Russia as it imperils democracy now, just as Hitler did then, we will pass this resolution, but we will do more. This resolution is no substitute for Caesar of Ashes. It's no substitute for providing arms. It's no substitute for the United States galvanizing the world against North Korea, Russia, Iran. Democracy is under siege and assault. And this is not just words on a piece of paper. This is a statement of moral intent.
And we'll wrap it up with this. Just imagine for a moment, if you voted against this resolution, if you had a chance to vote, look what you'd be endorsing. You would be saying, well, that's not enough. The dismembering of a sovereign nation, the mass rape of women, the kidnapping of children, providing nuclear capability to North Korea, for God's sake, the dismemberment of countries in Africa, on and on and on. So I know Representative McCall is very interested in this, but I would say to any member of the House and the Senate, if you give Russia a pass here, given all Putin has done, then we've lost deterrence. If this is not enough, I mean, as of yesterday, if there was any doubt about who Putin is in terms of a terrorist state, he just entered into a defense agreement with North Korea, for God's sake, and pledging to help their nuclear program. If you can forgive all that, then you will shine in history all the wrong ways. If you could go back in time and learn from the mistakes of the 30s, where people apologized and wrote off Hitler as just wanting this and not that, not understanding who they were dealing with, they do not age well, those decisions back in the 30s. I'm telling you right now, if you let Putin get away with this latest misadventure, you will not age well in history. Thank you.
Thank you all.
How worried are you guys about the Russian space anti-satellite news? Another time. Another time.
So there you have it. I just got an email from someone about the situation in Korea. Apparently, this person served in the Marine Corps in the 80s and said that the North Koreans have been dressing up South Korean prisoners in North Korean uniforms and sending them across the border since the 80s, and this person is suspecting that that's what North Korea is doing now, and that they sent them across the minefield on purpose to appear to look like the victims when it wasn't even North Korean soldiers that they sent, okay? So that whole minefield situation appears to be some kind of manipulation tactic to try to make it look like South Korea is the bad guy. So looks like very possible that North Korea dressed up South Korean prisoners and sent them through the minefield. That is just despicable, but it's definitely very possible. So let's just check out the latest tropical news. We currently have a tropical disturbance off the coast of Florida that now has a 50% chance of development. Satellite imagery shows that shower activity associated with the area of low pressure located 175 miles northeast of the northern Bahamas has become a little better organized during the past 24 hours. However, earlier Air Force Reserve Hurricane Hunter aircraft data indicated that the system does not have a well-defined circulation. Environmental conditions remain marginally conducive for additional development, and this system could become a tropical depression while the low moves west-northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. The system is expected to approach the northeast coast of Florida or Georgia early on Friday, and interests there should monitor the progress of the system. Another Air Force Reserve aircraft is scheduled to investigate the system on Friday morning. Okay, so this thing is heading towards Georgia. 50% chance of development, could turn into a depression. So if you live in the Carolinas, Georgia, you should be on high alert for possibly some rain and coastal flooding and some winds. We have Tropical Storm Alberto. I believe the first tropical storm of the season in the Atlantic Basin. It didn't actually make landfall on the U.S. It made landfall over Mexico, but still, that's the first tropical storm of the Atlantic season. So we have another disturbance here. 60% chance of development over the next 7 days. A broad area of low pressure is forecast to form over southeastern Mexico and northern Central America on Friday. Environmental conditions appear conducive for gradual development after the system moves over the Bay of Campeche on Saturday, and a tropical depression could form over the southwestern Gulf of Mexico this weekend while it moves west-northwest. So this thing is taking the same path as Alberto. Okay, it's heading in the same way. So it looks like the southern part of Texas could get hit again with flooding and stuff. Let me just check the flight tracker. I want to show you guys what's going on with the flights right now. We do have some activity here over the Korean Peninsula tonight. Yeah, YouTube is having some weird issues tonight. The number of people in the chat keeps like changing like weird numbers. So the hurricane situation is getting worse and worse. I want to just show you guys the current sea surface temperatures. Look at how warm the sea surface temperatures are. The entire Gulf of Mexico is in the mid 80s already, which is warm enough for hurricanes. That's actually really good for hurricanes. And then even like the coast of the Carolinas is still like around 80. So, you know, we could see potentially a tropical storm form in the coming days off the coast of the Carolinas. So yeah, we do have a lot of reconnaissance here in Korea. Look at this RQ-4 Global Hawk flying along the border there. Another recon plane over there. Just massive amounts of reconnaissance tonight over South Korea. There was a B-1 that was flying over Japan earlier. We have a combat Sentinel plane that just took off. So a lot of activity over Asia tonight. So let me just continue with some more news here. We still have some more news to get to. Prices of basic goods like groceries may increase by up to 50% due to frequent blackouts in Ukraine, which are causing an increase in the costs paid by food producers. So all these strikes on Ukraine are going to cause food prices to go up, possibly. Especially grain and milk, they're saying here. Ukraine's 24th Mechanized Brigade have been redeployed to bolster the armed forces' defense of the frontline town of Chasiv Yar in Donetsk Oblast. The brigade's press service announced via Facebook on June 20th. After capturing Avdiivka in February, Russian forces shifted their focus towards Chasiv Yar, a town on a relatively higher elevation which could potentially open the way to further advances into the oblast. The situation in and around the city is extremely difficult, the announcement said. Russian forces are constantly organizing massive frontal assaults and trying to bypass the settlement from north and south. The brigade also reported that the city is under relentless attack from Russian guided aerial bombs. Ukrainian forces have inflicted damage to Russian infantry units and equipment, the brigade said, but have also sustained losses. Russia is attempting to encircle Chasiv Yar by capturing surrounding villages. In their assault on the region, Russian forces have used multiple launch rocket systems equipped with thermobaric munitions, according to the Ukrainian military. And Putin said today that a strategic battlefield defeat would be the end of Russia's statehood. Russian President Vladimir Putin claimed on June 20th that the West is trying to push Russia towards a strategic defeat on Ukrainian battlefields, which would, according to him, mean the end of the Russian statehood. For Russia, this means the end of its statehood. This means the end of the 1,000-year history of the Russian state. I think this is clear to everyone, Putin said at a press conference at the end of his state visit to Vietnam. Then the question arises, why should we be afraid? Isn't it better to go to the end? The Kremlin chief claimed that Moscow is ready for negotiations, but said that if Kyiv wants to connect the talks to the Russian withdrawal from Ukraine, that will never happen. A full Russian withdrawal is a key point in President Vladimir Zelensky's peace formula. Several of its points were discussed last week during a global peace summit in Switzerland, where Russia was not invited. Putin laid out his conditions for a ceasefire in Ukraine ahead of the summit on June 14th, namely the withdrawal of Ukrainian forces from 4 Ukrainian regions claimed but not fully controlled by the Kremlin. The ultimatum was dismissed by Kyiv and its partners, blah, blah, blah. So, Putin's basically doubling down, with his demands. I mean, he basically demanded the same thing that he demanded before he invaded. He wants the same thing. He hasn't softened his approach. If anything, he's made more demands now than before. So this just shows you that Putin is just very confident. He's very confident, and he wouldn't be making all these demands if he wasn't sure that he can win this war and sure of Russia's capabilities. So yeah, YouTube appears to be lagging. Yeah, there's been a lot of issues with YouTube lately. What's going on, Lee Billy? Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Looks like I might have missed some donations. I'm sorry, guys. YouTube's acting weird tonight. Rascal Dog, thank you for the donation. Very, very nice of you, Rascal Dog. Hope you're having a good Thursday night. The weekend is coming, so hope you have something fun planned. Curly Girl, thank you for gifting 10 memberships. And Justin Flames says Putin is a former KGB and a master chess player. He does everything for a reason. Something big is coming. That's why he's having all these meetings. Exactly. Yeah, he wouldn't be meeting all these people for no reason. That's right. That's exactly right. Andrew Pickett, thank you for the donation. Luke chapter 21, then there will be signs in the sun, moon, and stars, and there will be anguish on the earth among nations bewildered by the roaring of the sea and the waves. Thanks for sharing that scripture. I appreciate that. We definitely have to remember to trust in God and read the scriptures more as these end times continue to approach us. When do I think they will use nuclear weapons? I think the nuclear weapons are going to be used by Russia. I think it could happen later on this summer, possibly, but he's clearly preparing for it. He's lowering the nuclear threshold. He's making all these big statements, okay? He's talking about a strategic defeat, okay? So he's basically clearly saying that if we lose in Ukraine, then Russia is lost. That's basically what he's saying, and that's kind of setting the stage for him to use nukes, because he's connecting the loss in Ukraine to the survival of Russia, okay? So that would basically justify him to use tactical nukes to end the war on his terms, So this is very, very serious, guys. Let me play this video for you of him speaking earlier.
That we are already, I think I mentioned that we are already thinking about what could be changed in the nuclear doctrine and our nuclear strategy, and it has to do with the emergence of, at least we are aware that our potential adversary is working on that. There are certain elements that will reduce the threshold of using the nuclear weapon. There are in development nuclear warheads of the lower capacity, and we know that among experts in the West there are certain ideas being floated that such strike weapons could be used, and it wouldn't be nothing horrible. It may not be horrible, but we must notice that, so we pay attention to that. That's why we're making these statements, that it is possible to introduce certain changes to our strategy. As for the preemptive strike, we don't need that. Because if we respond, then our enemy will be destroyed.
So that's basically what Putin said today. So let me just check and see if there's any updates here on the situation in Iran with that airfield that had these mysterious kabooms. A fire broke out at another oil refinery in Russia. 2 people were injured. This was after a drone strike, a Ukrainian drone strike. This was at the, where was this? The Ilya oil refinery. So another oil refinery being hit by Ukraine. And Russia's Gazprom stock is the lowest. It's at the lowest it's been in like 15 years. So Gazprom is doing really bad, which is not good, because then Putin may feel desperate. If Gazprom is like his main money maker, so if Gazprom starts failing, then he's gonna really feel, you know, like he has nothing left, and that may push him over the edge to do something crazy. A fire broke out at the Ilya oil refinery in Russia's Krasnodar Krai after a drone attack on the facility on the morning of June 21st. Wow, so that was just recently. And then there was also drones that targeted a military airfield nearby too. So Ukraine is really taking the fight to Russia now. North Korea says that they're going to be launching more balloons at South Korea full of trash and feces. Looks like there's going to be another missile launch by the U.S. off the coast of California from the 22nd through the 23rd. Not sure what kind of missile it's going to be, but there is a NOTAM up for the 22nd and the 23rd for some kind of missile test off the coast of California. There was a B-1 spotted off the coast of California earlier, or not California, South Korea earlier. There was a B-1 nuclear bomber off the coast of South Korea and Japan earlier. Lee Billy, how's it going, bro? I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for the gifted memberships. I really appreciate that. Lee Billy's like one of the top donators of the channel now. And he's an awesome mod. He's been with me for years. Thank you very much, bro. I really appreciate that. It's very nice of you. And sorry for these late night live streams. I'm going to try to start doing these streams earlier. It's just I've been so busy in the evenings lately that I can't do the streams earlier. But I'm going to try to start doing these streams a little earlier from now on. But thank you so much, Lee Billy, and thanks for moderating and being with the channel for so many years. I really appreciate the loyalty. I really appreciate that. And wow, T.W. Perry, wow, another big donation. T.W. Perry, thank you so much, bro. You're the man. You're very kind, and I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that donation, man. And I hope everything's going well with you. Thank you very much, TW. You're the man. So, we have this article here from Politico. The U.S. has told Ukraine it can use American-supplied weapons to hit any Russian forces attacking from across the border, not just those in the region near Kharkiv, according to U.S. officials. The subtle shift in messaging, which officials insist is not a change in policy, comes just weeks after the U.S. quietly gave Kyiv the green light to strike inside Russia in response to a cross-border assault on the city of Kharkiv. At the time, U.S. officials stressed that the policy was limited to the Kharkiv region, among other restrictions. Ukrainian forces have since used American weapons to strike inside Russia at least once, destroying targets in the city of Belgorod, and managed to hold back the Russian assault. But Ukrainian and other European officials have pressed the U.S. to loosen its restrictions even further, allowing Ukraine to strike anywhere inside Russia. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan told PBS on Tuesday that the agreement with Ukraine about firing American weapons into Russia extends to anywhere that Russian forces are coming across the border from the Russian side to the Ukrainian side to try to take additional Ukrainian territory. Russia has said in recent days it may soon move on the northeastern city of Sumy, which is also near the Russian border. If that happens, the policy would apply there as well, Sullivan said. This is not about geography, it's about common sense. If Russia is attacking or about to attack from its territory into Russia, it only makes sense to allow Ukraine to hit back against the forces that are hitting it from across the border. Two U.S. officials who were granted anonymity to speak candidly about the discussions maintained that allowing Ukraine to hit inside Russia in response to counterfire from anywhere across the border is not a shift in policy since the Kharkiv decision was made. Originally, the move was characterized only in the context of the ongoing Kharkiv assault, but that did not exclude the possibility of hitting back against other cross-border attacks, said one of the officials. Still, Sullivan's language is markedly different from what U.S. officials said in May when the new policy was detailed. At the time, a senior U.S. official said the president recently directed his team to ensure that Ukraine is able to use U.S. weapons for counterfire purposes in Kharkiv, so Ukraine can hit back at Russian forces hitting them or preparing to hit them. The policy of not allowing long-range strikes inside Russia has not changed. So this is serious, guys, okay? We are now allowing Ukraine to use our weapons anywhere inside of Russia, okay? As long as it's a cross-border attack, that's the stipulation. So as long as, let's say, Russia is attacking Ukraine from inside of Russia, or about to attack Ukraine from inside of Russia, then Ukraine will be justified to use their weapons provided to them by the U.S. Wow, Lee Billy, dude, thank you so much. Huge donation by Lee Billy. Wow. Might be one of the top largest donations I've ever received. Greg, the information you give us is beyond my donations. Thanks for the hard work you do for all of us. Wow. Really appreciate you, Lee Billy. I hope you're having a good night. Wow, I don't know what to say. You've donated so much in the last couple of days. Thank you very, very much. And it's good that you're still in here, that you're still part of the chat, and you're still moderating after all these years. I mean, I think you first started moderating like 5 years ago, right? 4 or 5 years ago. I can't believe that you've been a mod for so long. But thank you very, very much for the generous donation. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Wow. And T.W. Perry, thanks a lot. So many generous donations tonight. Thank you guys very much. Really appreciate it. It motivates me to keep doing what I do when I get this kind of support. It definitely helps a lot. The Arc on Facebook, I think it is. Thank you for the gifted memberships. I really appreciate that. Hope you're having a good Thursday night. Once again, thank you, Lee Billy and T.W. Perry. Thank you so much. EM. Those are the biggest donors tonight. Thank you guys so much. Awesome. You guys always donate so much. Thank you very much. I don't know what to say. It's very humbling. Thank you so much. We had this mysterious sonic boom in the Mediterranean, a sonic boom heard in Tuscany and on the French island of Corsica, initially mistaken by holidaymakers, locals, and officials for an earthquake, may have been a meteorite, experts said on Thursday. The town of Campo nell'Elba on the Italian resort island of Elba said on its Facebook page that a nearby tracking station had captured a seismic acoustic event felt by everyone at 4:30. Corsican media reports said it was also felt on the island. Tuscany Regional Government President Eugenio Gianni initially said that it was an earthquake before backtracking after Italy's National Institute of Geophysics and Volcanology ruled it out. The Italian Air Force told Gianni it had nothing to do with the sonic boom. The type of event which caused the tremor, felt by many as an earthquake over the entire coast of Tuscany and in some inland area, is currently unconfirmed, Gianni wrote on social media. The region's Geophysics Institute and the University of Florence said in a joint statement that whatever caused the boom was traveling at 400 miles per second. A meteorite entering the atmosphere seems the most likely and in line with data registered. Wow, 400 miles per second. Maybe it was some kind of SR-72 Blackbird, a new version of the SR-71. Maybe they were flying it over the Mediterranean or something. Who knows? Putin says he does not rule out sending weapons to North Korea. Russian President Vladimir Putin on Thursday said he does not rule out sending weapons to North Korea a day after signing a treaty with Kim Jong-un, calling it repercussions for the West arming Ukraine. Those who send these missiles to Ukraine think they are not fighting us, but I said, including in Pyongyang, that we then reserve the right to supply weapons to other regions of the world with regard to our agreements with the DPRK, Putin said in Vietnam. I do not rule this out. Wow. And Putin said on Thursday that South Korea sending weapons to Ukraine would be a big mistake. a day after signing a new strategic agreement with North Korea, alarming Seoul. With regard to deliveries of lethal weapons to Ukraine to combat zones, this would be a very big mistake, Putin said on a visit to Vietnam. If that happens, then we will take the according decision, which the current leadership of South Korea will probably not like. Wow. So Putin threatening South Korea, absolutely insane. And 3 Nordic countries have agreed to create an Arctic military transport corridor for channeling personnel and equipment to Finland amid tensions with its neighbor Russia, Norway's prime minister said Thursday, hailed as an important milestone by Premier Jonas Gahr Store. It is the largest security maneuver following Finland and Sweden's recent accession to NATO. Russia has boosted its military presence in the Arctic region, and Finland and Sweden joined the alliance, citing regional security motives heightened by Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine. Today we agreed to establish a military transport corridor through northern Norway, northern Sweden, and northern Finland, Store said in a statement following a meeting with his Swedish counterpart Ulf Kristersson and Finnish President Alexander Stubb. It will help ensure that personnel and material can be quickly moved from Norwegian ports through Sweden and to Finland, he added. Finland and Sweden dropped decades of military non-alignment after the Ukrainian invasion, blah, blah, blah. So this is interesting, guys. Northern Scandinavia is going to have a military transport corridor. Wow, that is huge, absolutely huge. And thanks again to Lee Billy, T.W. Perry, and E.M. Thank you guys for the generous donations tonight. Serena Smith, thank you for the donation. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, Putin can send weapons, but others can't. Exactly, Divis08. I totally agree. It just doesn't make any sense. It's kind of one-sided. Let me see if I can get some cameras up on the screen for you guys soon. I'll get some cameras going. Lithuania's parliament on Thursday voted to raise taxes in order to increase defense spending next year to 3% of gross domestic product amid security concerns over neighboring Russia. Wow. The small Baltic state is already one of the biggest spenders in NATO at 2.75% of GDP. Its current defense budget is above the Western Defense Alliance's target of 2%. Wow, so Lithuania is going to increase their spending by 0.25% up to 3%. Apparently they're going to raise the corporate tax rate, and they're going to raise taxes on alcohol, cigarettes, and fuel to make that happen. Interesting. Be watchful of Germany siding with Russia and Iran against Israel. Oh, yeah, I hope that wouldn't happen. That would be bad. But it's certainly possible. It's definitely possible. What are my thoughts on the Ark and Zulus? I don't really have any thoughts because I haven't really researched that too much. So, Amy Sturdivant says, I got a crash. 4 kids at 5 a.m. Oh, wow. Okay, Amy, thank you for moderating. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. So I do have the emergency action messages up right now. We're listening to them. If anything happens, you'll be able to hear them.
Raider 1-8, this is Mainsail launcher. How copy, over?
Wow, sounds like a message to a bomber. Raider 1-8. Raider 1-8. Looks like a message to a stealth bomber, possibly. We just had a message to Raider 1-8. Not sure what kind of plane that would be. It could be some kind of tactical unit or something. We got some kind of beacon activity, some unusual beacon activity tonight. Also, over-the-horizon radar signatures are kind of on the high side on the high-frequency systems tonight. It appears that the over-the-horizon radars have been turned on for some reason. So that could be a sign of something about to go down. We do have this beacon here. Listen, you can actually hear it. It's like every couple of seconds you'll hear this little like noise. Very weird. You hear that? That little noise? There it is again. So this is like a way of communicating or locating your position. Oh, we have a Cuban spy station now too. the Cuban spy station broadcasting now, and we have beacons. Beacons are like a way for planes to locate themselves before GPS. They have these beacons that they used. We got a Chinese jammer, some kind of Chinese jammer, you hear that? It's a Chinese jammer. Here we have German encrypted traffic on the German military frequency here. What they're doing here is giving out weather information to the German military, giving out weather information apparently. So just scanning some of the frequencies here to see if there's anything strange going on across the radio spectrum. This is the Colombian army right now. This is the Colombian army. So I do have the EAMs up right now. If we hear any EAMs coming in, if I hear any EAMs, they'll be sent to you guys. So things are really escalating, guys. Just absolutely crazy situation. Serena Smith, thank you for another donation. I really appreciate it. Andrew Pickett, thank you for the donation. Romans chapter 5 verse 9, how much more then, since we have now been justified by his blood, will we be saved through him from wrath? Thank you, Andrew. Bro, I just saw a news report. Apparently they recorded about 350 small earthquakes at Mount St. Helens since February. Yeah, Mount St. Helens is very active. It's on the list of volcanoes that need to be monitored. So yes, but we do have this weird situation of a Russian balloon that drifted into northern Poland. The Polish military says that Russia actually told Poland about it. They said that a balloon broke off its tether, and because of that it was going to fly into Poland, and it ended up doing that. But we got some big forest fires in Turkey now. Some huge fires in Turkey. The USS Ronald Reagan arrived in Guam. So not only did the B-2 arrive the B-2s arrived in Guam, but the USS Ronald Reagan is in Guam now. The USS Ronald Reagan returns to Guam for the first time in 2 years. The USS Ronald Reagan steamed into Guam's Ypres Harbor on Wednesday for a scheduled port call, and the aircraft carrier's first visit to the island since 2022. The Ronald Reagan, now on its final patrol in the Indo-Pacific, stopped in Guam following the conclusion Tuesday of Valiant Shield, a biennial exercise, according to photos posted to the Defense Visualization Information Distribution, blah, blah, blah. So this is huge news, guys. Absolutely huge. The scheduled port call allows the Ronald Reagan to stock up on supplies during its summer patrol, usually a 6-month affair, and provides crew members a chance to participate in community or volunteer activities, according to Carrier Strike Group 5 spokesman. So this is crazy, guys. We have an entire aircraft carrier strike group arriving in Guam. Okay, this is huge news, absolutely huge. One of its escort ships, the guided missile cruiser USS Robert Smalls, also stopped in Guam. About a dozen sailors on the Ronald Reagan crew from Guam were able to reunite with family on the pier upon the ship's arrival, and it was heartwarming to see. Wow. So this is the first time in 2 years that the Ronald Reagan has arrived in Guam. So we'll take a look at some earthquakes in a second here, actually. We'll take a look at some earthquakes soon. We'll We'll check out some of the latest earthquake situations. We have an over-the-horizon radar that's broadcasting a signal right now, which is pretty strange. Let me see if I can get this on the radio for you guys. But we did have some kind of call from a raider, a call for Raider 18 from Mainsail. Mainsail is like the main dispatcher for the nuclear forces, and they were talking to a plane with the call sign Raider 18, which could potentially be the new stealth bomber B-21 Raider. So very interesting. So thank you guys for donating tonight. I appreciate it. Raider 18 is possibly a C-130J. There is a Raider 51 C-130 flying over Japan right now. Oh, okay. That could be it. Do you think the buffering stuff got anything to do with all the military comms going on? It could be. There was definitely some internet connection issues earlier. I had connection issues here. My internet was slow for a couple of minutes. I'm going to try to start doing these streams earlier. I'm sorry I had to do such a late stream again. Like I said, I'm going to start doing them like a couple hours earlier, like 8 or 9, no later than 10.
7 0 1 0 1 0 2 5 8 7 6 4 4 0 2 3 6 2 2 4 5 6 1 6 2 7 3 1 3 4 7 0 1 0 1 0 2 5 8 7 6 4 4 0 2 3 6 2 2 4 5 6 1 6 2 7 3 1 3 4 7 0 1 0 1 0 2 5 8 7 6 4 4 0 2 3 6 2 2 4 5 6 1 6 2 7 3 1 3 4 7 0 1 0 1 0 2 5 8 7 6 4 4 0 2 3 6 2 2 4 5 6 1 6 2 7 3 1 3 4 7 0 1 0 1 0 2
Yeah, this is a
5
Cuban
8
spy
7
station. They're broadcasting instructions to sleeper agents in North America. Russian sleeper agents, Iranians, Chinese. Yeah, Ingrid Stewart, I'll answer your question shortly about talking to other preppers.
0 1 0 2 5 8 7
So that weird noise you hear is that's them sending the message through they're sending a digital message now. It's like a fax machine kind of. Yeah, it is very creepy because they're sending out instructions to sleeper cells here to conduct attacks on North America. So, yeah, it's very creepy. They're sending out instructions for sleeper agents. So... Alright, so the Cubans are sending out messages right now. So that's not good. But yeah, that's all the breaking news that I have. We do have this Russian presidential plane that... Hold on. Getting a lot of static here. We have this Russian presidential plane that just went to Sochi. Maybe Putin is taking a weekend off. You can see he went to Adler. That's where Putin's mansion is, right near Sochi. So maybe Putin went to Sochi for the weekend after all the traveling. Maybe Medvedev is going to rub his feet with some oil. We just had the French military
115, 0 degrees, visibility 10 kilometers. Temperature, increase, northwest, 10, kilometers, 014, northeast. Vessel at 0520, wind, variable at 1 knot. Cover 10, temperature 13, viewpoint 10.
Some weather report here from the UK. British military weather report.
0520, wind 140 degrees 9 knots.
Thank you, Aldo, for all your support, dude. Really appreciate you.
Military 1 times lot 2
Aldo and Rodney and Vanessa, you guys are awesome. Kim Croy.
0520, wind 050 degrees 3 knots. Visibility 10 kilometers or more. Cloud scattered 3,000 feet. Temperature 29, viewpoint 23. QMH 1005, northeast. Kiwi at 0520, wind 220 degrees 5 knots. Visibility 10 kilometers or more. Cloud 2,700 feet. Temperature 26. Viewpoint 23. QMH 1006, northeast. Frost at 0520, wind 290 degrees 13 knots. Visibility 10 kilometers or more. Showers in vicinity. Cloud scattered 2,000 feet. Dating 3,000 feet. Temperature 9. Viewpoint 7. QMH 1004, northeast. Tanya at 0520, wind 290 degrees 7 knots. Visibility 10 kilometers or more. Cloud 9,000 feet. Temperature 26. Viewpoint 1.
The Cubans are still broadcasting spy numbers. Listen, or spy instructions. Okay, that's it for that. But still, the Cubans are still broadcasting. That's a long message, and I don't think it's part of their scheduled messages either. Cuba right now, they're broadcasting on 10860. 10860 megahertz. They're broadcasting like crazy tonight. Wow. They usually don't broadcast at this time, so something must be going on. It's very strange. We have a camera here coming from the Polish Baltic coast. This is very close to Russia. So what you're looking at here is the... let me see, where is this one? Yeah, this is right... This is actually facing towards Poland, but it's right on the Baltic Sea, close to Russia. So we might be able to see something interesting there. Here's a live look at the Polish Baltic coast. This is in northern Poland, close to Russia. This is looking out into the Baltic. It's morning time right now in Poland. So maybe we'll see some Russian warships or something. Who knows? What's going on, Christopher James? Yeah, it's very calm because it's morning time over there. So figure we could at least look at something interesting besides a flight tracker. By the way, the water looks really nice, but it's actually super duper cold. The Baltic Sea is just absolutely frigid. The Baltic Sea is, even in the middle of summer, that water is like ice cold. You wouldn't want to really go swimming too long in there unless it's a really hot day. Then it feels actually really refreshing. But it's like 50-degree temperatures, the water. So, yeah, the Baltics are barely above freezing. Yeah, in the summer, the water is probably like in the 50s, I think. The water temperature gets up to the 50s, even in the peak of summer. Tweak says, Greg, thank you. I could watch this 24/7. Start a media organization. Yeah, I'd love to. Maybe I will. We'll see how things go. Maybe I will start. I'm always looking to expand, so I'm always always looking to expand the NYPrepper channel. Hopkinson, why is it so cold all the time? Because it's very far north. So, you know, Poland, especially the Baltic Sea, it's very far north. You know, it has the same latitude as like Canada, like northern Canada. And so in the winter, the water freezes here. It's a brackish sea, so it's not purely salt. It's mixed with fresh water, but it freezes in the winter, and it freezes pretty good in the winter. And it's cold because it goes all the way up to the Arctic. I think it reaches the Arctic Circle, or maybe... No, it doesn't reach the Arctic Circle, I don't think, but it goes pretty far north, you know. It goes all the way up to like northern Sweden. So, you know, because it goes that far north, it just never warms up. It's just too cold, you know. Throughout the year, it's just not enough time to warm it up. The water just doesn't have enough time to warm up, basically, you know, because the summers are short. So, any news about Iran's uranium refinement production? I haven't heard anything about Iran's uranium refinement, but I know that they said they were going to increase their refining of uranium and enriching it. So we should definitely expect Iran to start building nuclear weapons very soon. The kids love to swim to this ice house in Duluth off of Lake Shore near the Coast Guard lookout and lift bridge. Oh, is that in like northern Minnesota? Interesting. So this is the bay side. This is the bay. We were just looking at the ocean side or the sea side. Now this is the bay. This is looking towards the bay in northern Poland here, close to Russia. It's right next to Russia. So let me see if I can't get some other cameras up here. Let's take a look at what's going on in Russia. We see some cameras from over there. We got Kaliningrad. We'll monitor Kaliningrad. See what's going on over there. We also have St. Petersburg. We could check that out. So we got Kaliningrad on the bottom left. We got the Polish Baltic top right. I like swimming in cold water, says Unpopular Truth. Yes, the Gulf of Mexico is right now around 85, is from what I saw. Much of the Gulf is in the mid 80s, so that's why I think we're going to see a lot of hurricanes building pretty quickly this year. I think we're going to see a lot of hurricanes. We already have another one brewing. So we have some breaking news coming in. Apparently there's some radio traffic coming out of Alaska tonight, and it's going out to tactical nuclear aircraft. It's a global broadcast from Elmendorf for addressing tactical nuclear aircraft. This is just coming in the last couple of minutes. Okay, so breaking news, we have U.S. Military radio transmissions going out to tactical nuclear aircraft from Elmendorf. So that's not a good sign. They're addressing tactical nuclear aircraft. That's just coming in right now. I'm monitoring the situation. Yeah, we just experienced Tropical Storm Alberto, and there's another tropical storm brewing right now that's heading towards the same area, southern Texas. There's another one that could hit by this weekend. So we have encrypted traffic going out to tactical nuclear aircraft from Alaska, from Elmendorf. It's just coming in right now. I think we're gonna have a full moon, I think, tomorrow, which I was gonna mention is pretty weird that we're gonna have a full moon on the solstice. Isn't today or tomorrow the solstice, from what I understand? Or was it already? I don't know. I know it's 21st usually, but we're gonna have a full moon on the solstice. That's strange. It's not going to take much to have this powder keg to go. Yes, I agree, Curly Girl. Yeah, so full moon on the solstice. How weird is that? I mean, that is just super weird. I don't think that's a coincidence, guys. I really don't. So yeah, there was just a global address to tactical nuclear aircraft from Alaska. Or it could have been from anywhere, actually. I made a mistake. It wasn't from Alaska. It was a global address to tactical nuclear aircraft, but Alaska was involved in that transmission. So maybe they were communicating with some aircraft in Elmendorf. 11 p.m. here. Okay. There will be signs in the sun, moon, and stars. Yep. That's what I was just thinking of, the same thing. I was just thinking the same exact thing. So we have breaking news coming in, encrypted radio traffic being broadcasted to global nuclear forces. The U.S. is doing that. The U.S. is transmitting, just monitoring the situation here. Full moon was this evening, Thursday. Oh, okay. It didn't look like a full moon. It looked like it didn't look full. It looked like 90%. That's why I thought maybe tomorrow. The Druids would be celebrating. We do have a strong sunspot that may erupt and cause some issues. We have 2 strong sunspots that are capable of producing X-class flares. So we did have some M-class flares earlier, but those big the big sunspots are actually rotating away from Earth, so that's a good sign. There will be a full moon tonight. Right, that's what I thought. So we're going to have a full moon on the same day as a solstice. Isn't that strange? Very strange to me. You know, look at all this recon activity over South Korea now. South Korea is really heating up. What happened to Curly Girl? Okay, Amy King, have a good night. Thanks for tuning in. The solstice was the 20th. Okay. I haven't heard anything else about the boom in Iran, Teresa. But I'll keep an eye out. I haven't heard anything else. You know, it's the middle of the night, so at least here it's the middle of the night, so news is kind of slow. Usually in the morning things start to pick up. Looks like I have a lot of night owls that watch me. We still have this massive heat wave going on in the Northeast and the Midwest. Just absolutely insane heat wave. We have an excessive heat watch for Washington, D.C. and Northern Virginia tomorrow. Excessive heat watch. Wow. It's going to be like in the upper 90s tomorrow in Virginia. Looks like the heat may moderate a little bit on Monday. They're showing some cooler temperatures on Monday, but it's going to be hot through the weekend. So, you know, avoid any strenuous activity outside if you can. So we just had a encrypted data transmission go out on the high frequency system to nuclear capable aircraft. This is the US military we're talking about. So yeah, I can do a quick recap. So the main thing is that we have Putin lowering the nuclear threshold, saying that it's in response to the West's moves in Ukraine. We have Republican Senator Marco Rubio warning that there's a very dangerous war brewing in the Middle East between Israel and Hezbollah, as well as Iran. There was a series of loud kabooms in Iran at the Zahedan airport. Apparently there were some deaths reported. North Korean soldiers once again crossed the border into South Korea. This was the third time this month. CNN is citing sources that the U.S. and Israel are concerned that a war between Hezbollah and Israel would lead to an expansion and entry into the war by other groups. Ukraine's 24th Mechanized Brigades say that fighting is extremely difficult in Chasiv Yar because Russia is constantly mounting frontal assaults. There were some drone attacks in Russia on some oil refineries again tonight, and also a military airfield. Russian forces used a 3,000-pound glide bomb for the first time in Kharkiv Oblast. China sent 34 of their military airplanes into Taiwan's ADIZ, one of the largest sorties to Taiwan's ADIZ by China of 2024. They came as close as 37 nautical miles from Taiwan, one of the closest approaches of the year. The U.S. Indo-Pacific Command has drafted options in case there's an escalation between the Philippines and China. We have the Ronald Reagan Carrier Strike Group making a port call in Guam at the same time as B-2s arrived to Guam for the first time in 5 years. There was a mysterious sonic boom across the Mediterranean, which many people in Italy thought was an earthquake. So those are some of the biggest headlines. And now we have this very rare global transmission to nuclear-capable aircraft by the U.S. military. So we have a global transmission by the U.S. military to nuclear-capable aircraft, which is very rare from what I'm understanding. It's extremely rare. This transmission, radio transmission going out to nuclear-capable aircraft worldwide by the U.S. What I'm hearing is that it's very rare. So, you know, from what I'm hearing, this is extremely rare to have this kind of broadcast, so means something is brewing for sure. Could be in the coming hours, could be in the coming days. But kabooms recorded in Lebanon and Yemen. Thank you so much for that information. What channel? It was on the 2G ALE channel. It was an ALE transmission that had a global tag, and it was addressing nuclear bombers worldwide. So this was an encrypted data transmission to nuclear bombers worldwide by the U.S. military, which is extremely rare. Extremely rare. Okay. So we have to keep an eye on this. We have to keep an eye on it and see what happens. Could be a sign that something big is brewing in the coming days. We have a Cobra ball returning from the Pacific, from Guam. Check this out. We got this Cobra ball here returning from Guam. Very interesting. We currently have some thunderstorms heading over Iowa and Nebraska. I wish we would have some storms here. It's been so dry and hot. I guess it's good I don't have to mow my lawn as much. We have a P-8 Poseidon taking off from Jacksonville right now, heading out into the Atlantic, probably to keep an eye on the Russian warships there. Yeah, it's an extremely rare transmission, Aspen. Yeah, it is very serious. If they're making this transmission on an encrypted frequency, it's very serious. So we're just going to monitor this and see if anything else happens. Look at Arizona. Yeah, sure, we can look at Arizona. Arizona's pretty quiet right now. This P-8 is pretty interesting. Check it out. So we're just monitoring these radio waves here. Scrappy weather or crappy weather in South Dakota. Bad storms again tomorrow. Redneck Prepper says the quiet before the storm. Oh yeah, the storm is coming, that's for sure. I wish we would have some rain here, I really do. It's been so dry. Everything is so dusty everywhere. It's just crazy how the weather is here. It's like we had this 2 weeks of nonstop rain in May. Just rain for it was 3 weeks of rain non-stop, and now it's just so hot and dry and no rain at all for days. Just going from one extreme to the other, nothing in between. But it's supposed to moderate a little bit though soon. I'm getting tired of this hot weather. It's like I can't do anything outside until it's 7 o'clock, right before the sun goes down. Then it starts to be somewhat tolerable. Yeah, Massachusetts, Massachusetts, you get that humidity too from the ocean, so you probably have it worse than I do. I'm not close to the ocean. I'm pretty far in, so I don't get that humidity. I mean, I do get humidity, but it's not like Massachusetts or somewhere. Yeah, Texas is unbearable. Yeah, forget it. I couldn't live there. As much as I like Texas and the people there, great culture there. Texans are awesome people. But it's too hot for me. I would just sit inside all the time. I wouldn't be able to go out. In the summer months, I would just be inside all day, with the AC running full blast 24/7. I would have such a high electric bill. We have some updated information now on these two disturbances. Let me get it up on the screen. The hurricanes. Let me see if I can get that up on the screen. So we have some updated information on these two disturbances. We now have a 60% chance of development of this disturbance here on the Yucatan Peninsula, and it's going to head up towards Texas again, just like Alberto. And now this disturbance near Florida and Georgia has a 50% chance of development. Okay, so we could see two tropical systems impacting the U.S. this weekend, one in southern Texas and one in the Carolinas, tropical depressions. So it's going to be an active hurricane season, I'm telling you guys. It's going to be very active. So it might be a little bit hard to see here, but we have this little system here. It's moving west towards Georgia. It could impact Georgia and South Carolina as a depression, but you can see, look at the Yucatan, that circulation there. That really has me concerned. You can see all the storms popping up around it too. Around the circulation, and the Gulf of Mexico has really warm water now, so this could strengthen into a surprise tropical storm or even a weak hurricane. Who knows? See if I can get a better shot. So here you can see Alberto, the remnants of Alberto crossing Mexico. And then here you can see this new system over the Yucatan. Let me see if I can zoom in here. So there we have the new system. You see all those thunderstorms popping up, those white spots. Those are new thunderstorms popping up, so there's a big circulation there. So that's not good. It's not good. So we'll just keep monitoring it. That's all we can really do. Look at that P-8 Poseidon heading out into the Atlantic from Jacksonville. Check that out. Yeah, that's a huge circulation. Look how big it is. Yeah, it's massive. Yeah, it is like 20 times larger. It's like covering all of Central America. It looks insane. Yeah, it looks crazy. We also have some breaking news that a Cuban jammer has been activated. A Cuban jammer has just been activated. Let me check up on that. Let me see if I can. Play that for you guys. Yeah, looks like we may have another. Oh, here it is. The Cuban jammer. Wow. All right, Redneck Prepper, have a good night. Sounds good, Rodney Middleton. Have a good walk. I got to get up and walk too. That's some kind of Cuban jammer. What's going on, JP? How's it going? That's some kind of Cuban jammer. thank you, Lyndon. I appreciate that. That's very nice of you. I hope you're doing well. It's good to see you. NYPrepper, how's it going? This sound is a Cuban jammer. They're jamming some frequencies for some reason. Yeah, it is very serious, Brenda. We do have to get on our knees and pray. I totally agree. Let's go back to my place for a Cuban jammer. That's funny. That's funny. Oh yeah, Microsoft Works. Oh my gosh, I remember Microsoft Works. That's so old school. Wow, that just brought back some memories right there. MS-DOS. You remember MS-DOS? And the floppy drives. They had the big discs, the big floppy disks, and then they had the small floppy disks when they perfected the technology. They used to have those giant, like 5-inch square discs, and then they shrunk them down to like 3.5. Yeah, Windows 95. Yeah, there you go. Those were the days. I miss those days. AOL, yeah. Yeah, we were talking about this couple weeks back. We were having a nostalgia moment. Vanessa says that makes me feel old. I'm sorry, Vanessa. You've got mail. Yeah, dial-up internet, 56K. I remember when the first DSL came out. Like, DSL was like considered to be like revolutionary, and it was like so expensive. I remember when DSL came out, it was like such a big deal. Like, oh my gosh, you have DSL. You know, and now it's like DSL is like nothing. It's like old technology. Yeah, oh yeah, and you couldn't use the phone while you were on the internet. That's right. Yeah, you couldn't use the phone while you're on the internet. AOL dial-up. Netscape, yes. Netscape. And Alta Vista. Have I heard about 1,000 deaths in Iran involving the pilgrimage to Mecca? No, I didn't hear about that. That's interesting. I didn't hear about that. Who remembers Twitter? Yeah, Twitter's still around. It just has a different name. I remember when my brother bought one of the very first cell phones. That's cool. In those big fold-over leather cases it was in. Now, those were a huge distraction. Yeah, Oregon Trail was so fun. You could shoot all the buffalo. You go out and they had the buffalo in the open, and you just shoot all the buffalo. That was funny. So yeah, I'm gonna just continue monitoring the situation here. Just gonna check if there's any new sources of info here. Look at this P8 Poseidon heading all the way out here. It's pretty far out there now. There must be something going on over here. Probably those Russian ships. Got a German Air Force plane over South Korea. Look at that. It's not something you see every day. At the Incheon International Airport. Wow, it's taking off. Interesting. We got some activity here in Poland. Look, we got a Polish border guard plane heading to the border of Belarus. Check that out. Connie Vampola, good morning from Ireland. How's it going? I've never been to Ireland, but it looks like a nice place. Tiffany says I still owe Columbia Records like $30. That's funny. Trudeau has Canadians upset again. He thinks Cuba is a friend. Wow, that's insane. That's so weird. Very strange. We got a Finnish military plane going to Poland, heading down towards the hub for Western weapons in Rzeszów. Alfox says it's all very tense now as North Korea is Russia's ally. Exactly, yeah. It's like they're like Belarus now. North Korea's like Belarus. Who knows? Maybe they're going to give North Korea tactical nukes or something. I don't know. I mean, there's all kinds. Oh, look, there's a second P-8 Poseidon here. Check that out. They're monitoring this area here. Wow. That's pretty crazy. Got two P-8 Poseidons here. So yeah, something's going on. Yeah, we got two P-8 Poseidon sub-hunters here. It's interesting. Yeah, Biden administration's not going to do anything. Yep. We have some breaking news. We have some radio traffic spiking from Andrews Air Force Base. That's near D.C., which is very unusual. It means something's brewing. Something's about to go down. This is coming right after that global broadcast to tactical nuclear bombers. Interesting. The Polish border guard plane disappeared from the flight tracker. Look at that. Wow. Polish border guard plane just disappeared. Interesting. Wow. That's pretty weird. Huh. It just turned its transponder off. So we have something brewing, guys. I don't know what's going on, but we just had a global transmission from the U.S. Military to global strategic forces, nuclear forces, and we have a spike in encrypted radio traffic and data being transmitted from U.S. Strategic Command and from Andrews Air Force Base in D.C. So something could be brewing here. Something could be brewing. Yeah, I see the RC-135. They're just doing calibration patterns here. I'm not too concerned about that. They're just doing calibration there. They do that every so often. But these two P8s over here are pretty interesting. This one's going pretty far offshore. Tiffany says I have to have my son at work at 9 a.m. What are the two image locations? The top right is the Polish Baltic Sea. It's actually facing the bay and close to Russia. And then the bottom left is Kaliningrad, which is a Russian province next to Poland. No problem. I'll be right back. Hold on, guys. So, pretty crazy times that we're living in right now. Someone said Gargoyles. That was a good show. Gargoyles. I used to watch Mighty Max. Anybody ever watch Mighty Max? That was one of my favorite shows. The kid, he had the hat, and his hat would like open a portal, and he would like go back in time. Real Monsters? I don't remember Real Monsters. Oh yeah, Knight Rider. Knight Rider, Lynn Dunn. That was one of my favorites too. Knight Rider was so good. Yeah, Knight Rider was awesome. Power Rangers, Mr. Rogers. Gilligan's Island. Oh man. The Hulk. Yeah. Oh, Darkwing Duck. Yeah, Darkwing Duck. I never saw the old Gargoyle movie. Oh yeah, GoldenEye. GoldenEye, the video game. Oh man, that's an epic video game. Probably one of the best ever made, in my opinion. I kind of want to replay GoldenEye now that you mentioned it. That was such a good game. So that Polish border guard plane just turned its transponder off. That's pretty serious. So we have all these encrypted data transmissions going out from U.S. Strategic Command right now. So our military's on high alert, and we had the Cuban spy station unusually active tonight. They were broadcasting messages, and then we also had a Cuban jammer that was active tonight that was jamming stuff. So something's brewing. I'll have to wait and see what happens, but something's brewing. Is there anything you guys would want to see? I got the two cameras. I got the flight tracker. I got the satellite loop. I don't know if I should substitute the satellite loop for something else, or... Andrew Pickett, thank you for another donation. Have you seen The Ghost and Mr. Chicken with Don Knotts from the Andy Griffith Show? So funny. Also, have you checked out Before the Wrath yet? No, I haven't checked out Before the Wrath. I haven't had a chance to, but I'm gonna check it out. I just gonna put it on my list. I just wrote it down. The Ghost and Mr. Chicken. I have not seen that actually. Yeah, Israel doesn't really have too many good cameras. They took a lot of them down for security reasons. It's hard to get good cameras from Israel. Walker, Texas Ranger. Oh man. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. What a classic. Wow. Virtual Backgrounds. Thank you for the donation. I love more prayer. We need Jesus. Yeah, I'm going to do some more prayers on our channel here. We'll do more prayers. Definitely need to keep praying. Korea. Yeah, Korea. Oh, that would be an interesting one. It's hard to find Korean cameras, though. A lot of them are just like traffic cameras that they're not live. Outer Limits. That was a good one. The Outer Limits. That was a good one. Oh, I got a cool camera for you guys. Check it out. This is pretty cool. I got a good one. Check this out. We got a live stork camera from Poland. Those birds there, they're called storks. And they're like a very revered animal in Poland. There's actually a lot of funny stories about them. Like they say, if you're like a young person and you see a stork, it's a sign that you're gonna have kids. Usually, you say it to like women that they're gonna be pregnant if they see like a stork or something. But these are migratory birds that fly from Africa to Poland every single summer. They go back to Africa in the winter, and then they go back to Poland in the summer. And what the government there does and what people do is they build these nests for them, or they actually will build these nests themselves. But what the municipalities will do is they'll just put like a piece of plywood on top of a electric pole just to serve as like the rough base for their nests, and then they'll pick up sticks and make these giant nests. It's pretty cool. They're all over Eastern Europe too, like Ukraine, Belarus, Baltics, I think Russia too. They like the wetland areas and stuff like that. This reminds me of your old series, Dark Winter. Yeah, I'm going to be filming some more Dark Winter episodes. I'm going to be filming some more. It's not that old. What is it, like a year and a half old? Yeah, I guess it's kind of old. It's about a year and a half. That's not too bad. Um, so pretty cool footage there. Yeah, the P-8 Poseidon went out into the Atlantic pretty far out, and then it lost reception. I'm probably going to have to step away soon. Good night, Vanessa. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Thanks for moderating. You're the best. Thank you so much. About to pass out. I might just leave the stream up maybe tonight. I don't know. I might just leave the stream up overnight, possibly. If people want to hang out in here and just chat, what do you guys think? I may just do that. It's Thursday night. What the hell? Okay, good night, JP. Good night, JP. The volume, I'm still here. Tiffany says crybaby. Who's a crybaby? We still have a lot of activity from Stratcom. Looks like we still have a lot of encrypted data coming out of Stratcom. Can I check Russia? Yeah, what do you want me to see about Russia? I do see there's a special flight squadron taking off from Moscow. Let's see, we have another special flight squadron taking off from Moscow going to Siberia. Yeah, it looks like we got some Russian doomsday planes taking off from Moscow right now. Interesting. Did I hear in Ecuador they had nationwide blackouts? Yes, I heard about it. Russian flight 64581. Yep, I see that one. I see 64581. Yeah, that's a Russian doomsday plane. Good catch. Yeah, we have a Russian doomsday plane going to Siberia, guys. Could be potentially going to the Altai Mountains. There's a bunker over there for Vladov Putler. So you can barely hear me. See, before my volume was too low, and now before it was too high, and now it's too low. So can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? It was so weird. Earlier it was like too high, and now it's too low. Very strange. That's so weird. You losing viewers because they can't hear me? No, that's not true. People just sign out at this time. It's getting late, so I think YouTube is messing with you. Huh. Interesting. Sounds better than earlier. I don't know what's going on. It's weird, yeah. No, I'm not losing viewers because of that. It's already 3 a.m. Eastern time. People are going to sleep, so back how I normally sound. Okay. Looks like we may have another big system impacting Texas again. The system is really getting big. Pretty low a couple of minutes ago. Yeah, I don't know. It's just been acting weird tonight. Not sure what's going on. Very strange. Strange situation. We do have a lot of activity on the data transmission frequencies. They transmit data to the nuclear forces. So something's brewing. I don't know what, but we have a lot of activity still. Yeah, definitely a lot of night owls. I agree, Tiffany. Yeah, it was something beyond my control. People were bitching about it earlier. It's like they don't understand that I don't have a production team. I'm not CNN. There was some glitch with YouTube earlier. For sure, there was some kind of glitch. 2 a.m. in Minnesota. I should probably go and get some sleep soon. Oh, alerts for Israel. Let me see. Let me see. Alerts for Ukraine and Israel. I'm better than CNN. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Serena Smith says I sound fine. Kingdom Daughter says you're my CNN. You're my primary source of news. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Best journalist ever. That's funny. Thank you. Almost as good as Fox. Journalist of the Year goes to NYPrepper. Oh, thank you. Thanks. I try my best. I try my best. Any updates? Yeah. We do have some unusual radio traffic right now to U.S. nuclear forces. So we're monitoring that. The lower right showing, that's showing the Caribbean and North America. That's what it's showing. How long before true SHTF? It's hard to say. It could happen at any time. It's hard to say. You can see the circulation starting here. So I don't know if I'm going to keep the stream up or shut it down. What did I do with the kitty? The kitty's fine. She's not outside anymore. Newsmax and NYPrepper. Newsmax is worried about their 225 million IPO. Oh yeah, that's a huge deal. E6 went to Norway. Oh. When did that happen? Is that right now? I don't see that. Oh, P8 Poseidon you mean, or an E6? I don't see any E6 in Norway. I see a P8 going towards Murmansk, but I don't see anything else. So I don't know if I'm going to leave the stream up or shut it down. I don't know if you guys are going to tune in once I leave. So I don't know if I should shut it down or leave it up. I might just have to shut it down. These days with YouTube, you never know. They could try to pull the stream down or something. Yeah, Duramax has great news. He's great. Lake Ontario. Yeah, I could try to find something by Lake Ontario. Rochester. Yeah, I see Forte 15. Yeah. Forte 15, it looks like it's heading to the Black Sea. So yeah, we could see some, looks like it's going to probably find information for targets for Ukraine. So yeah, I think I'm going to shut the stream down. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'll probably shut it down, and maybe tomorrow night I'll do another one. I'm not sure. Or if not, I'll do a stream during the day and just leave it up. Get some sleep. Okay. Sounds good. Okay, guys. So, yeah, I'll keep monitoring everything, and I'll be back tomorrow with more updates. So I'll be monitoring everything, and if anything happens with Hezbollah in Israel, I'll let you guys know. So thank you guys for all your support. I appreciate it. Everybody who donated, all your kind comments. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And until tomorrow, take care. God bless. And don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere.